right, I got this thing out of the hub assembly. It's pretty messed up. The joint's been dislocated here. I want to find out what that's all about. They mushroomed the hell out of this threads for the axle nut. Fix that. I got a couple rough edges here. I'm going to go ahead and take care of them next, but I straightened out the threads here so the axle is salvageable, but there's a lot of damage here. It was in another shop. They were trying to get it out of the hub. They said they used a very heavy press. Still were unable to get it out of the hub. Brought the axle here for us to get it out of the hub, and we got it out. Actually, the damage had already been done. It was already destroyed on the end, and the joint was already dislocated, and hopefully this is salvageable, repairable, and all right, let's get it apart and find out what's inside. Right now, removing the factory bands. This is the easiest way to do it, is to get the end of it pulled away. There we go. Now that's it. Once that's done, I can remove the band. When we recycle all this stainless steel, there it goes. That sucker's so messed up, and I have a hard time getting that. There we go. It's off the spline completely. All right, I'm going to go ahead and remove it. There it is. If you ever wanted to know what one looks like inside, there you go. And the clip is still there. I want to go ahead and replace that clip. Put a brand new clip on here, a brand new boot. And now for something completely different. I'm restoring this mortise lock set. It's actually an NOS lock set. It's probably about 100 years old or so. But through storage and over the years of just sitting around, it's gathered a bit of a patina. You know, it needs to be lubricated. And unfortunately, I didn't really take a lot of before stuff, you know, before I actually started the project of doing this work. But this doorknob was really rusty from storage. It's chrome. And I refinished it, and I was able to mimic some of that with actually a rattle can of paint to kind of replicate that chrome. That goes inside the escutcheon, so you don't really see it, but it does have enough of a shine on it that it is acceptable. Redid the pin. This is 3 pieces here. A lot of these are threaded. This one is not. It's tapered, and it has a pin in it, and you adjust that pin to the thickness of the door that you're going to be using it on. And so right now it's adjusted to the door thickness that this is going to be used on, which I will be using it actually. I've had this lock set probably close to 40 years. I've carried it wherever I've went. I found it in a house that I had bought in Philadelphia. It was in the basement. It was in really brittle tissue paper, and I just held on to it because the whole house was full of these lock sets. I restored them all. I didn't need to actually replace any of them, so I just held on to it. And now I have a home for it. I'm going to end up using it, but this is what it looks like, and it really came out very nice so far. I'm going to open up the mortise now, lock, and take a look inside this thing and see how we're doing there. And I know there's going to be some patina inside because you can see it through that window. Hold on. Okay, now we're all open. Oh, there's Shop Kitty coming in to say hello. Hello, Shop Kitty. Are you helping? Oh, of course you're helping. If you're going to do this work, you have to use, you know, appropriate tools. So we have Shop Kitty. Yeah, Shop Kitty, and antique tools to open up an antique lock. Anyway, you can see there is a patina here on this mechanism. I want to get that out of there and get that off there and get it restored, and then put it back in and lubricate everything. Everything else is in excellent condition. I reversed the tongue here so that it would work for this door that I'm putting it in. This can be a left or a right hand. All you have to do is release. Let's see, I'm trying to look through the camera and I'm not looking at what I'm actually doing. You just have to release this mechanism here and flip it over, release this coil spring, and you just turn it over like that, and then you put it back into place, and you can use it for a left or a right hand swing door. So that's what we did. We've made it so this is a outswing, left-hand outswing. That's why we have it set the way we do. And all the new ones, you know, the reproduction stuff is all made in India now. But this one you can see is a Yale made in the USA, so you know it's an original lock set. And like I said, I've been carrying this thing around for nearly 40 years. And it was old as dirt when I got it in the house that had no electricity or plumbing when it was originally built. And these lock sets were all throughout the house. So you know, I would say it's probably in the neighborhood of about 100 years old or so. All right, let me get this apart and start getting the rust out of it. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and release this mechanism right here, part of the deadbolt action, the lock center one here. There we go, we're released. And did it. All right, there we go, we got it out. This here looks fine. I'm not going to mess with that. That looks good. I might take it out and just do a little bit of polishing, but this part here does have a patina on it. We're going to take care of that right now. The way I'm approaching this is I'm going to try a polish on it, a metal polish, because I don't think a traditional way of taking this patina off is warranted. I think a polish is going to do what I'm looking for here. So what I have is, I already started it on the other side, and I'll show you that in a minute once I get this side done. I did an experiment. That's why I stopped what I was going to originally do and start the film back up so I can show you what I'm doing now. Anyway, film, you know I'm old. This is called White Diamond. This is a metal polish. It's fairly gentle. Not to be confused with anything Liz Taylor was hawking in the 80s. This is not. That was perfume, White Diamond, that she was hawking in the 80s. But anyway, here we go. Go ahead and put this on, move it about, put it everywhere, put it on me, put it on the part, put a little bit more on me, put a little bit more on the part, and there we go. All right, now, got way more than I need, but who can never have too much? This is the 80s overindulgence, yes. All right, here we go. Let's get this thing, let's see what we're getting. We have a part number. It's number 5. Number 5. So that was something that revealed itself. It's a stamp, so you could see it, but it was very hard to see. But now that the metal is being polished and cleaned, the stamp is very apparent now. You can see it. All right, now go ahead and get a cleaner part of this rag. Just start rubbing out on this thing. Oh yeah, this is coming out very, very nice. It wouldn't be the Putty Mod Restoration Company if we didn't go all the way and make this thing as minty mint as we possibly could, or can. And we are there. This looks fantastic, actually. Yeah, that came out great. Check it out. See the shine there? Got a really nice clean look. I'll get a cleaner rag just to do a final polish on it, but that looks terrific. That looks like it's still brand new. As it is, it's only about 100 years old brand new. Perfect. All right, we're back with the lock set here, and I'll show you how this thing works, because I just explained it, but I didn't actually show it. All you have to do is you just push this forward, release it, just like that, and I just have to get the little spring out of there. The spring is out, and then you can set it back just like this, and it comes out, and then you can turn it over and put it back in and do a right hand swing. And since we're doing a left hand, well, it swings to the right, but you use the left hand to do that. We have to switch it around. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and polish these pieces out. And this piece, you can see there's a little patina there, so we're gonna polish that part out. And you've gotta remember how all this stuff goes back together so you don't mess it up. There's a little bit of dust in here, but you can see this thing is It's never been used. It's never been installed in a door. It is literally 100-year-old brand new part. So cool. And I did my research. I could not find another NOS lock set, mortise lock set anywhere. Everything is just, you know, beat up and has to be restored. So this is a really rare find, a very interesting piece to find one NOS like this. People ask me, why do you keep holding on to all this crap? Well, there's your answer. That's why. All right, I'm going to go ahead and polish this up and see what we get. Got this all final polished. It looks perfect, beautiful. Polished out the screw head here. So that looks real nice. I'm doing the deadbolt action, the best way I can describe it. This is for interior doors to set up. They do have them for exterior doors, but this is for an interior door. Yeah, there you go. Look at that. That's a beautiful polish. Looks great. You can go ahead and put that back in. This is okay. I'm not going to have to move that at all. I'm going to blow out some of the 100-year-old dust out of it. I'm not going to release this. There's really no reason to. Everything looks fine in there. I just wanted to polish out the parts that slide and are necessary to be clean, and you know, because of appearances and things like that. So we'll go ahead and get the lock back in there. There we go. Perfect. That's working just as it should. Get that polished up real nice. This lock would have worked just fine as it was, but this is the way you make sure it's going to work just fine for, you know, as long as I live anyway. And this is actually going on a bathroom door, so there will be moisture introduced to this lock. We want to make sure everything is protected, polished, lubricated, so it's not going to be a problem in the future with a you know, with a rust issue or something like that. And that's how this keeps its tension and springs back. Goes right to that little post there, and you can see it works just fine now. And then the last part of the mechanism is this part right here, and this is a spring action as well. Lithium underneath this setup here before I install it, because it's just easier with it out. Go ahead and put that in the contact point. There we go. That's what we want to do. And we'll go ahead and we'll lubricate it at the next contact point. Right there. Work that in. All right, now we have a slide here. We have to lubricate these contact points here. This is just a white grease that we're using. Get this slide here. Oh yeah.
You can't even see it.
Mm-hmm. I want to make sure everything is good because, like I said, it's going in a high moisture content, so I'm actually coating the metal to keep it from ever developing a rust issue. All right, up top here now, on the bottom, light there, light on the spring. Hopefully I won't shoot the spring across the room. That would suck. Okay, that's working. That's working. And I'll go ahead and put the mechanism back in for the lock. Goes like that. Hopefully I'll remember how this goes here. Okay, cool. All right, this is how your lock goes into place, the door handle I should say, and then there's a skeleton key that goes here, and that's what works this mechanism right there. This is your cover. You just put it right back into place, and you can see the number 5 through that window now. Whereas it wasn't really visible before. It was, you know, had that heavy patina coating on it. But yeah, looks really good. All right, let me go ahead and put that screw back into place. That's good. Works like a charm. I don't have the key with me right now. Let me go ahead and get the doorknob. Works great, just as it should. So it'll go all the way in like that. The fun part is going to be mortising enough of the wood out of the door for this, and I've watched the This Old House video, and it was very helpful as to how that is done. So I'm going to attempt that next to install this lock. But as for right now, this is as far as it goes. I'm going to go ahead and polish this out, make that pretty, and we're good to go. This still has the original black paint that Yale put on it. Has not been repainted or anything. What you see is exactly what it was 100+ years ago. Nothing has changed. And that looks great. You can see the shine on that thing. It's amazing. Really nice. Really nice. And that crystal doorknob. That's gonna look so cool. All right, I got the clip out, and as you can see, it did not fare well coming out because there is damage here on the end of this shaft. I'm gonna have to address that so I can get the... And under further investigation here, this thing's destroyed. I'm gonna have to replace this axle shaft. That's right there. You can see all the damage on that spline. That spline is had it. It would take a lot to fix that. I mean, I could fix it, but it's actually just easier to replace this shaft, which is what I'm going to do. All right, here we go. We got the replacement shaft, and you can see what a bad shaft looks like and what a good shaft looks like. I want to go ahead and remove that clip and slip the CV on and make sure it goes on. They didn't destroy the spline on inside of that, because if they did, that's going to be a real sticker, because then I'd have to replace everything. Hopefully that CV has survived. Got the clip off. We'll go ahead and put our CV end on. Oh good, it slipped on. All right, so the CV end is not damaged. It will work. Right, we have our new boot. This is the factory boot kit from Honda. This is the new boot, the new factory Honda bands. These are really good bands here. They're a one-time use only band. That's why these ones have been destroyed when they came off. That's the old boot. I just brought that back up on the bench. I still have to clean out the CV, get all that mess out of there. The old clip that was destroyed, getting it apart. Here's our new clip, new axle nut, and factory Honda grease, which we will be using on this particular rebuild, because we're going to keep this a stock axle. I'm going to go ahead also and switch out this cup left to right. These cups are perfectly smooth. I've already investigated to check them out. There's nothing wrong with them at all. They have only 30,000 miles on them. I'm going to switch these cups anyway, just because once it's done with the new grease and all, it'll be just like having a brand new axle. All right, we got our CV all cleaned out, ready to go. Put the new clip on the axle end here, mark where we're going to set the boot at, and now we're going to install that CV onto this shaft that we are replacing, because This one's all jacked up. When I do this, I like to invert this. It's much easier, and you can just use a soft hammer and drive it down in to the CV from this. All right, the bearing's all packed and ready to go. You have to work that grease into that bearing. Keep pressing it in with your thumb or index finger. Keep pushing it, articulate this thing all around. Keep moving that grease down into those bearings, making sure that it is well packed. And then just the extra that comes in the tube, you put a little around the top like I have here. And all right, let me get this boot in place and we'll get it clamped down and we'll start working on the inbound next. Time to give it a little squish here. There we go. Yep, that's a good place. Next, I've already measured off up here, so I know I'm exactly where I want it to be. That's done. Oh yeah, that's good, real good. Would have loved to have cleaned all that up if we had time, but this fella really wants to get this car back together as soon as possible, so we're doing everything necessary to do that, just not doing a restoration, just a rebuild. All right, now we're going to do the inbound. Our outbound is done. It's fully refurbished. All right, we're all booted up here. There's our bearings. Everything's all cleaned up. Our cup all nice and clean. Everything looks great inside. No wear to talk about. There's our new Honda CV grease for the inbound CV. There's our old damaged axle. Still has the inbound on that, which we're going to switch on to the left driver's side when we're finished with this. But right now we're working on the right passenger side, and we're stealing the left driver's side to put on this end, because that's the thing to do. Got the cup all loaded up with the factory grease. Tripod is greased, spline is greased, clip is in place. Now we're going to go ahead and install that cup. This pretty simple to do. Kind of a neat freak when it comes to it, so I like to make sure everything's nice, clean. Everything's nice and clean here. It's the original boot. It's in perfect condition. There's no reason to replace it. Okay, and here we go. There it is. There we go. Done. I always like to work it around. Okay, there it is. That one is complete. Viable, good axle again. Straightened out everything. Chicken salad out of chicken poo-poo. All right, now we'll go ahead and get that driver's side all set up. We are back, and we have our left axle up here, and we're going to finish the assembly. Our cup is all nice and clean. Boot's all nice and clean. Again, the original parts just switched from left to right. Yeah, it's in the groove now. Make sure it's spun, it's in there nice and tight. All right, we're good. Grease. So always put them back right where they came from. This way everything is exactly as it should be. Every bearing is with its proper race, and that's important. Don't mix and match. Go ahead and put our cup on. There we go. You just kind of give it a little, wiggle, maneuver, and it'll find its seat. There it goes. There we go. Move that thing around, get it worked in good. And that is that. This is, I gotta run a die over these studs because a fellow told me he had hit it with a hammer accidentally trying to drive that shaft out of there. Not only did he mushroom out the end of this shaft, but Also kind of bludgeoned the studs a little bit. Easy fix, so we're going to go ahead and take care of that right now. And a little anti-seize on everything, and then it's a finished project. Stand by. All right, this is the die we're going to be using. Here we are, we're in the video now. Okay, and it says this side start from. That means you're going to go ahead and put that die on in that direction and run it down those threads to clean them up. This has a lead in, so it's much easier to start the die on that side. That's why it has that wording on there. I'm going to run it down all of them just to be sure. This one is good. Get to the next one. It's a little boogered up on the end, but it's fine. I did a nice job cleaning it up. I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of them done here, folks, and I'll be right back. This one was the worst one. There we go. Nice, very nice. All right, now the next thing we're going to do, little anti-seize. At least I know it's been taken care of, and I won't have to worry about it coming back in time with seized up parts again. Complete set done now. Hub set up and repaired. Axle repaired. Let's see. Yep, here we go. This was the axle that was damaged. This is the axle, or I should say, this is the axle that was damaged, which we have replaced with this new axle here. Put a new boot on, repacked the bearing, repacked the bearing, repacked the bearing. I just fixed what was broken essentially and just made it better. These axles are, for the most part, as new now. Hub is in great shape, so you can get this car back together. They had left in complete suspension on it because they didn't have proper tools to take things apart. We got it straightened out now. Fella can get his car back together probably late tonight, I'm sure, because it's, you know, when you have a Honda S2000 and you love driving it, you want to drive it, so you'll stay up all night long to get this stuff back together so you can actually drive that car. But anyway, there you go. There you have it. All done. I'll probably have a follow-up video on the mortise lock set once we install it into the door, mortising out the hinges and things like that. So you'll see how some of that's done, even though it's really not, you know, what everybody kind of tunes into this channel for, which is, you know, S2000, Mazda, Miata, Nissan, Ford stuff, you know, car stuff, the Camaro, of course. But I figured I'd introduce a little bit of something different to show you that, you know, we kind of do a little bit of everything when it comes to restoration. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, and I appreciate you guys coming and watching and making the comments that you do. Everything's been really positive, and I want to keep sharing with you guys, so thanks for that, and stay tuned for the next video. See ya. Chop kitty. Where's that chop kitty? There's that chop kitty. Come on, chop kitty. Were you out there sunning yourself? Are you hot? Are you ready for a treat? She loves treats. Are you ready? Oh, I heard that mew. I did. I heard that mew. There's a good baby. kitty. No, that's Daddy's coffee. You don't want that. Yes. Good baby. All right. Let's get to the next video. Kitty, 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 kitty. Say bye-bye. Bye.